You got yourself a budget AR and you'd like to mount some sort of scope on it, and you'd like a budget scope. So what we have is the Firefield Barrage 1.5 to 5 power scope here. Now, before we get into it, if you would please, if you like the content, please subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, and if you could, become a member. Alright, so this is kind of a conundrum we have. You get an inexpensive gun, okay, and scopes, even these Chinese made ones, usually run a C-note or 100 units, and you only got 4 in the gun. You don't want to, going and putting $200-300 dollar scope on there kind of defeats the purpose of a budget gun. And most of these guns come with no sights and are flat top. So I found this on a Black Friday deal with PSA, and I got this thing and it cost me $60 with the shipping. Usually something in this class, these scopes like this, there's what your reticle looks like. Even on Amazon and that, they grab you all together when you pay the sales tax and shipping about $100. So I kind of got this one, for like I said, for like 60 beans, and we're going to take a look at it. So we got a user's manual, one little itty bitty Allen wrench, and a cloth. Okay, and they were shipped pretty good. The boxes are pretty sturdy and come in a bubble wrap, well wrapped up. Now the other budget scope I got, it did cost me about $80-90, and it had the quick detach mount, and the way the eye relief was when I set it on the gun, I had to set the scope back so far that and with the mount, the latch mount, I couldn't get the operating handle. I almost blocked one side of it. So I decided to try this scope. The price is right. Okay, and there's your markings. Fairfield. And there's a laser also on there. Let me see. Is the battery installed? Yeah, the laser works. So, what do we got? We'll look at the battery mounting first here. So you got a little laser on the side of this. And it takes a CR2032, so that's good. My T-Dots take an odd size battery that I couldn't get my hands on. Alright, and there's your little laser on the side. And like I said, all you do is push the button. And there it is. So I believe this here okay. It's got about 5 miles of thread on its cap, but this is your elevation, and obviously this is weird, your windage. So windage there, elevation up top. Alright, I'll put these caps back on. Alright, so we know that under this cap is elevation, this cap is windage, this top comes off, exposes the battery. There are numbers on the side here, and what it is this has an illuminated reticle, and you go from 0, which is not illuminated here, and up to 5 in intensity, and it puts a red illumination on there. Now you have a laser and the little Allen wrench. There's little tiny Allen wrench or set screws in the end of the laser, and you can adjust windage on the laser. Now it says that this ring here in the back, and it moves on this one, the other one wouldn't move, is Doppler or for focusing. So this moves, and that's good. And then your magnification ring is here, and this goes, 3, 5, whatever to 5. 1.5 and half increments all the way to 5. Okay, so that's pretty nice. And it's a compact scope. And like I said, your laser has a button here. Now, let's look at the mounting system. This is going to be kind of the weak point. Alright, that goes through your one rail. That bolt goes through, and as you screw this in or turn it with your fingers, this is how you would lock it in place. I've found that any type of mount that has that type of a screw or something on there will shake loose in use. Okay? So the best thing to do would be figure out how it mounts, pull that nut off, wipe off the thread with some acetone or degreaser, and then once you get this mounted on your rifle where you want, it looks good, pull it off, put a drop of Loctite on it, and then screw it down. Okay, I highly recommend using a drop of Loctite on the threads on that nut. And, you just take it and put acetone on it, and it'll dissolve the Loctite. Okay, or even that purple scope mount type Loctite, which isn't as terrible as red, or use blue Loctite. And then a little bit of the acetone. So, I don't know about the eye relief. Now, a guy 3 years ago made a video about this, and like I said, he paid close to a C-note for it. And he said, well, I'm going to mount it on a gun and eye relief and that, because like he said, it was not expensive. It was, a pretty good deal. And then I went to his channel. It was 3 years, and I searched. I never found a video where he used this scope or said anything else about it. So we got this Black Friday deal, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over, we're going to put it on one of the guns, and if I like this, okay, and it seems to work well, and generally with these things, they kind of work well, when you got them, these, this focusing thing moves, the other one it doesn't. And when you try to force the things, that's when they end up breaking on these cheap scopes. But we'll get it on this rifle and we'll give it a shot. So let's go to mounting it on the gun. Okay, so for mounting this scope, I tested it out. I got the stock all the way out, and I figured for me, and all you got to do is back out the nut and the one piece there. And for me, right about there, start to tighten it a bit. give it a little push forward, because the recoil will drive that forward and it'll mar your, and I hand tighten it. So there's where it is. You take a screwdriver and give it a good crank. But like I said, if the scope is in a place that you like it, figure out where that is on your rail, set it on there, slide it forward so it's, that bolt goes up against the little notch of the pick rail, and then a little bit of Loctite on there and clamp it down. Now all of these scopes, I'm noticing where they are, the eye relief. Now I got this collapsible stock all the way out, and it looks good to me in terms of the eye relief. Now I kind of noticed, well, the windows ain't really clean here, but I went out on the back porch. This scope ain't quite sharp. It's either a little bit dirty. I tried cleaning it off, the lenses with the rag, and it has no caps on this, so there's nothing, no dust cover, which kind of sucks. That kind of helps if you're going to store it. But how good it is, or how well it will handle for, you know, a $50 item, I don't know. But we'll take it out and we'll try it for a bit. Like I said, the other one I had with that clamp would get here, but this one here is to where you can reach the charging handle just fine. But I guarantee you, if you don't do something, a little Loctite or something on this, this will vibrate loose. And any of these items I got from China that mount like this, that's about the only downside. You got to kind of Loctite them on there. So we'll get out and we'll give this a test. The other one worked fairly well, and I mounted it on a couple different rifles. The quick mount is pretty cool. It's the same thing, except it's not a lever. But once I get this zoned in, if I like it on this gun, I'm going to Loctite it down on there, and it's going to stay on there. But yeah, we'll give it a try and see. Magnification's a little lower on this one. I think the other one goes from 4 to 9. And but for the cost, we'll give it a shot. All right, stay tuned.